Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Classic Doctor Who Reviews. Last week we did the Mark of the Rani. This week we conclude RaniWatch with Time of the Rani. Oh boy, this one.
Yay!
What's this conclusion shit? We're doing Dimensions in Time.
The conclusion of RaniWatch.
Twin Dilemma.
That doesn't have the Rani in it.
Fine.
No,
if it's between Twin Dilemma and Dimensions in Time, I'll take Dimensions in Time. You've got it. But all right, part 2 of the RaniWatch. Time of the Rani. This storyline. What to say about this storyline?
Well,
It's
we can start.
and fantastic.
We can start by saying that in 2013, for the 50th anniversary, Doctor Who magazine did a poll where I guess readers voted on their favorite and least favorite stories and all that, and everything up to that point got ranked. So everything from An Earthly Child up to, I guess, Day of the Doctor, maybe Time. I'm not sure if Time's on there. But let's just say everything up to Day of the Doctor. So that's like 240-odd stories. Time of the Rani came third from last.
Excuse you?
Yeah, so apparently we watched and are talking about the third worst Doctor Who story of all time.
Which, excuse you, but this is such a treasure that Nicolas Cage is on a plane right now heading for England.
Holy shit.
It is so much of a treasure, he is breaking the quarantine.
Oh, Jesus. Well, here's the thing. Even if you can already dispel the validity of this by saying Time of the Rani is an absolute delight. But even if you didn't want to do that, you can already invalidate the list by the simple fact that the Rings of Akaten is 9th from last on this thing. Which, that episode is an absolute joy and beautiful and wonderful, and I will hear no hate for it to that degree.
And you won't get any argument from me.
But back to Time of the Rani, which...
Oh boy, yeah, so Time of the Rani then. This kicks off right from the beginning. So...
Which I think we need to give the context for why it begins the particular mess that it does.
Oh, please do.
Please do get the context.
So, this is a story from the first story of 1987. 1986 was a bit of a difficult time. See, in 1985, when Colin Baker was the Doctor, we had an 18-month hiatus because of reasons. A lot of very elaborate reasons. Point is, the confidence in the show was shaken, and they came back in 1986 with The Trial of a Time Lord, which was supposed to be their big relaunch, but wasn't exactly that great, and really confusing all around, and infamously led to Chris Chibnall as a geeky Doctor Who nerd going on TV and criticizing the writers, who are also the writers of Time of the Rani, I should add.
I say again, 42.
Yes, 40. Yes. Well, he criticized, yes. But the point is, 1986 ended with the firing of Colin Baker as the Doctor on the behest of BBC higher-ups. Now, Colin Baker was asked to come back and do a regeneration scene for the next year, but he was bitter about it, obviously, but he offered a compromise. He would come back for... now, I'm not sure if it was either this story or the entire season, but he'd come back...
According to the wiki, it says a full season.
Okay. So, he'd come back at a point, and he would voluntarily regenerate at the end. That was his compromise offer to the BBC. They refused.
For good reason.
For good reason. And so Colin Baker was gone, and the producer of the show at the time, John Nathan Turner, he thought he was leaving as well, since he'd been on since 1980. But no, they didn't have anyone else lined up to do it, so they basically shanghaied him into doing it. So, as this is memory point in some documentary somewhere I saw, they fired the guy who wanted to stay and told the guy who wanted to leave, "You're stuck here."
Yeah, so that's completely logical, that is.
Yeah. So that left John...
Sounds like America.
Yeah. So that left John... that left John Nathan Turner in a bit of a scramble to get a new doctor, a new script editor, and to actually get the series back on the ground again. Which he managed to do, but it explains why Time in the Rani is a bit of a mess. So, with all that context in mind, Time in the Rani's opening.
Yes. The worst use of CGI I think I've ever seen. The first shot of this episode, and if you watch the Doctor Who on Twitch marathons, they open with this shot every day. It's like,
Raniac, can we also insert a picture of it just for visual representation?
Certainly, I've got to. So,
yeah.
What you see on the screen right now, if you're watching it on YouTube, not just listening to this as a podcast, this is what it opens up with: a CGI TARDIS being blasted with CGI lasers.
Yeah.
Do you remember how back in was it Can You Hear Me? And one of the reviewers said, "Oh, you know, the monster looks like it was made in a BBC Acorn." No. But this looks like it was made in a BBC Acorn.
God almighty.
This was the best you could do in 1987.
Well, BBC budget.
I call bullshit. Even on BBC budget.
The title sequence looks better, at least, I think. It's kitschy, but I like it a lot better.
I don't mind the title sequence at all, but this opening shot, and then it gets better.
Then, yeah. Now the CG, I can stand. The regeneration, the 6 Doctors' regeneration into Sylvester
point of view,
McCoy.
either the worst regeneration or the best.
Both.
The answer is yes.
Now, fandom in its own way. There have been like spin-off material. Like there's a novel called Spiral Scratch that came out in the 90s or 2000s that gave Colin Baker regeneration. And in 2015, Big Finish did a big box set, The 6 Doctors' Last Adventures, something like that.
Yeah.
And that was.
But this is the canon one.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting in that it was Colin Baker willingly piloting the TARDIS into deadly radiation in order to kill himself along with the Valyard, who was back because, of course, you're going to have to bring the Valyard into it. Whatever. But all that is just, putting lipstick on a pig, as it were. And the pig is the fact that apparently Colin Baker just fell and bumped his head and regenerated.
Yeah. So the lasers are fired by, I think they're fired by the Rani, which is not a spoiler.
Yeah,
it's called Time the Rani, literally.
Literally in the first minute she shows up.
She shows up in the first 30 seconds, yeah. Kidnaps the companion, who is Mel.
No, kidnaps the doctor. Leave the girl.
Sorry. She leaves. Sorry, you're right. She leaves the companion. She kidnaps the doctor. But the sorry.
And then her hench monster, who we only see a little glimpse of because she's not going to reveal it,
turns him over.
And
the magic happens.
Oh god! Put it on the screen. Put it up again. I'm sorry.
Sylvester McCoy, Digital 2. Sylvester McCoy.
This is seriously the funniest shit ever. They just put a permed blonde wig on Sylvester McCoy and blurred his face.
They don't even blur it that well.
No, you can tell it's Sylvester McCoy.
You can tell for a good second.
Like you can see his hair poking out from under the wig.
And they just crossfade to McCoy without the wig in that same pose.
Yeah.
And take the swirly off his face. Like the DVD, the Time in the Rani DVD, which I have, because why wouldn't you want this on your shelf?
Yes.
They actually have a special feature where they bother to make that regeneration look good. Like it's actually Colin Baker's face, and they morph it into McCoy's face as a little bonus extra.
Oh, so they Star Wars Special Edition date is what you're saying?
No. You can't watch the episode with it. It's just like a bonus clip.
So the Star Wars Special Edition date is what you're saying?
Well, no, see, the CGI in the Star Wars Special Edition was awful. That one is actually good, so they didn't actually do that.
But, yeah, no, that's how we begin. This is the first Sylvester McCoy story, who's my favorite classic Doctor.
We begin at the peak, is what you're basically saying.
Basically. Now,
it all goes downhill from there.
Oh, God.
I think what you mean to say is we begin with the 7th Doctor wearing the 6th Doctor's coat.
Yes.
Oh, God, this looks so
quite
wrong.
some time.
It looks so wrong.
That's wonderful, though, in a twisted, wrong kind of way.
So right.
Yeah.
Like even Colin Baker wearing the coat, at least you're like used to it. McCoy in it just feels like an aberration. It's like, what?
Frankly, it's not for the whole episode. It's not for the whole serial.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of the coat and tacky 80s shit, I think we need to discuss an elephant in the room here. A man by the name of Keith McCulloch.
Who? The what now?
Who?
The composer for this story.
Oh!
I'm gonna go... Now, you have your Murray Gold, Rani, at the show. I have Keith McCulloch. Keith McCulloch is perhaps the most 80s composer the show's ever had. Like, you heard the Mark of the Rani soundtrack. It was synthy, but it was a little subdued.
Oh, okay.
This story's music is just...
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Like, I almost want you to put, like, the Time in the Rani Suite. There's, like, a YouTube video of the music just online somewhere. So
I'll watch that later. I'll listen to that later.
Yeah. But you just listening to it, it's amazing. It's so tacky and wonderful. It wraps around into something that's just wonderful.
I will say, I think I heard some musical cues in this story that I heard again in later McCoy.
You might have, I don't know.
I think the Curse of Fenric might renew some of the music, I'm not sure.
Well, he didn't do Curse of Fenric.
Oh, maybe they just reused it or someone else did it.
Maybe.
Oh, he did the music for Dimensions in Time.
Oh, good! We'll get to hear more of him.
We're not doing that one, though.
Yes,
shoot! Here we are.
Oh, he also did Remembrance of the Daleks. Interesting.
He did, and
maybe that's where I heard it.
Really
yeah,
you probably heard it there.
That's a brilliant story.
That. Yeah.
This is less of a brilliant story for different reasons.
Oh, it's not brilliant, but it's wonderful.
It's brilliantly bad.
It is damn entertaining.
It's so you could call it so bad it's good in a way.
I don't know if this or the Mark of the Rani is the more objectively bad story, actually.
Well, I like this. Yeah, it's hard to quantify, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I think this one. Yeah. Well, here's a quantifier. Which one has more dumb shit to laugh at?
Oh god, well,
this one.
The funniest thing is the tree mines, but there's more funny stuff in this one.
Yeah, that's true. And the Rani does. They actually do continue the motif of weird, goddamn trip bomb mechanics. Should we talk about the bubble bombs?
For context, first time I ever saw this was yesterday, so I was prepared for recording it today. We're doing it today because we don't want to intrude on the Vincent and the Doctor watch along on Monday evening.
That's going to be so fun.
So this is the first time I've ever seen this. About 8 minutes in, there's one of the aliens runs away from the Rani's base, falls over a tripwire, and suddenly she's encased in a giant purple marble. But if that were not good enough, the giant purple marble then rolls away, flies away, with this alien screaming the entire time.
And crashes into a mountain.
Explodes, and just a skeleton's left behind. What the hell?
I love the bubble bombs.
This nearly broke me.
I love it.
Yesterday afternoon, this nearly broke me.
Oh my god.
This is just one above tree bombs.
I don't know if this is the tree bombs that are better, but my God, that was amazing.
I think the tree bombs are better, but this is still marvelous. And, I don't think I've ever watched the Rani stories in quick succession, so I never put together the whole thing of, the Rani, specialist in really weird bombs.
It is rather interesting how there are some parallels to be drawn between this and Mark of the Rani. The traps, the major part of the scheme is to kidnap important people, which he tried to do in Mark of the Rani, but didn't manage to do because the Master got involved.
And in
let's
part
be fair,
4,
she stole the Master's idea, so...
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, in part 4, when she's explaining her scheme, she mentions, for example, she could go back to the Cretaceous period and let the dinosaurs rule, which, she obviously had interest in dinosaurs, given she had the embryos in Mark.
See, that part of the plot was interesting, and it always made it come across a bit like The Monk, and now I've said that, I want a story where the Rani and the Monk team up to just mess with history. Because that would be wonderful.
But if we're talking Rani schemes, I think we have to talk about that thing she does during the first half of the story.
Oh, I love this. No,
okay, so...
You can laugh, but I love this.
It's just bonkers as shit.
I think before we say it, we got to talk about Mel a bit, because she's the companion in this.
Oh
yeah.
You mean the worst part of the story?
Yeah, Mel is a divisive companion. She showed up in Trial of a Time Lord, and her introduction was actually a bit timey-wimey, in that our first look at her is in the future section of Trial of a Time Lord, where we're seeing a future adventure of the Doctor. So there's no introduction. They're just already companions, and they've already met, because it's a story from the... Yeah!
I bet that's confusing for people watching in 1986.
Yeah, try that for the entire Trial of a Time. But anyway. So yeah, she just shows up. She's there. They've been companions for a while. There's some backstory somewhere about how the Master hacked the world's computers, and that's how the Doctor and Mel met. Something. But we never actually see them meet on screen. After Trial of the Time Lord, the Doctor and Mel just go off on their own, and then, well, all the shit I just said about Colin Baker getting fired happens, and Time of the Rani happens. So Mel is a computer programmer from Shepherd's Bush, something like, I think
that's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And her computer programming knowledge 3 times over her 6-story run, because she's out at the end of season 24 here.
Yeah. And one of those times is here, of course.
Yeah, one of those times is here, the Rani.
Can I describe why she was hired?
Oh, God.
Yes. Okay, I'm taking off my headphones.
Headphone users beware.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. Don't worry.
Okay.
So, you guys have seen, 80s horror flicks, right?
Yes, I have.
There's a term that's used for certain women who are hired to be in horror flicks because they do one thing really well. That term is scream queens.
Yeah, I've heard
Bonnie
scream
Langford
queens.
Nell is a scream queen.
Yeah, Bonnie Langford's a scream queen.
There's actually a really great moment in her first story, Terror of the Vervoids. The cliffhanger is like a guard getting electrocuted and shit's blowing up, and she screams. And her scream is actually goes into the same pitch as the cliffhanger sting. So that's really
cool.
Clever.
I like that.
That's actually really clever. But yeah, she is a very shrill screamer.
Half her dialogue is just screaming.
Especially in this episode.
I gotta tell a fun story. I told Kat this story, but when they were doing the Doctor Who Watch on Twitch, the marathon, one afternoon for me, they were at Time of the Rani. Time and the story. Yeah. And so I decided, I had to cook dinner, so I decided, I'm going to bring the tablet out, and I'm going to put Time of the Rani on the tablet and just lay it there on the counter while I'm cooking, just for some entertainment. So I'm cooking, Time of the Rani is on, Mel is screaming her goddamn head off, and the family's like, what the fuck is that noise?
Oh,
so, yeah.
That would have been quite the explanation.
Yeah. Also, her fashion sense is a hell of a thing.
Oh, you're referring to the shoulder pads. The giant shoulder pads she's wearing.
Yeah. She actually dresses pretty reasonable, as far as I can remember, in the rest of her stories.
Well, let's be fair. It's this compared to the Sixth Doctor, so...
Oh, yeah.
And also, it's the 80s, and giant shoulder pads were kind of a thing then.
Yeah, they were.
In this country,
so now that we have introduced Mel, computer programmer,
we can introduce the best bit.
So the Rani, you want to explain it, or shall I?
We can sort of take turns, but go on.
Okay, so the Rani needs the Doctor for whatever her scheme is. We don't know here in Part 1, but the newly regenerated Doctor is brought to the Rani's base, wakes up, gets still, rattled, regenerative trauma and whatnot, but he still does recognize that it's the Rani, and she's up to something. But before he can really do anything about it, he's falling around all over the place, because Sylvester McCoy is a physical comedian, and they added some of that shit in. It's kind of neat. It actually reminds me, I've been watching all the Star Wars movies in order for the last couple days. It actually reminds me of some of the... Yeah, well, I'm on the original trilogy now. I'm fine.
Okay, good.
But it actually does remind me of some of the weird shit from the prequels, like the Jar Jar slapstick. George Lucas loves his physical comedy. It doesn't work, but the fact that he tried is still interesting to me.
Yeah.
You say interesting, I say a god-awful piece of shit, but, tomato.
This is probably going to be cancelled. This opinion is probably going to be cancelled, but I have nothing particularly against Revenge of the Sith. I think that's the best of the prequels by far.
I agree, but we should talk more about Doctor Who.
We're going to. But as you rightly say, so he's got this regenerative amnesia, which is neat. A lot of the Doctors sort of portray this when they first come out of regeneration. They're not quite right. They're still off balance. Particularly in the modern series. Every Doctor that's regenerated in the modern series has done so either having amnesia, or they are ill, or something like that. Anyway, McCoy continues the trend here, but he gets back to his feet, and standing in front of him with her back to him is Mel. Except it's not Mel. She turns around, and it's the Rani in a goddamn ginger wig. and the exact outfit Mel was wearing. Where Rani got these clothes is never established. But the best bit... Oh, God, my stomach's hurt just thinking about this. Yeah. The best bit is when the Rani opens her mouth to speak as Mel, it's Mel's high-pitched voice.
It's a falsetto. She's just like, "Oh, hello, Doctor.
Who are you? I'm Mel, Doctor." Oh, God.
Also, I should mention that after the Doctor gets zapped by a glitter gun, that actually happens, and gets knocked out, and then the Rani shoots him up with amnesia juice. So
yes,
to better make this feint work. The whole idea of it is the Rani's machine is busted, and she wants the Doctor to fix it.
Yeah.
So in order to make him cooperate, she hits him up with amnesia juice, disguises herself as Mel, and pretends that the machinery is his, and he can't remember, but he has to fix it.
Yeah. It's kind of brilliant, actually.
And it leads to Kate O'Mara in a ginger yelling, "Oh, hello, Doctor. We have to fix this machine."
Kate O'Mara...
She looks like if Cruella de Vil decided to make a hat out of a poodle. It's so fantastic.
Oh, God.
At least the wig fits her, which is more than said for Sylvester McCoy's blonde number.
Speaking of McCoy, I got in my notes the spoons.
Oh, God, when he plays the spoons on her breast.
Spoons.
What?
He played... The story is Sylvester McCoy could play the spoons. And he did it one evening, I don't know, at a casting call or some sort of thing. He did it one evening for the crew, and John Nathan Turner, the producer, was like, "That's amazing. You need to do that on Doctor Who." And McCoy thought he was just drunk, but he was serious.
You are pulling my leg, surely. You're telling me this spoons bit was not in the original script?
No, it wasn't. That he added it because McCoy could play the spoons and he saw him doing it at like a party or something.
And why did you do it on her breasts?
Why not? Well, even McCoy says that. Oh, it was fun. I got to play the spoons on Kate O'Mara's front.
That's the British way of saying it, to not actually say the word breasts.
It's beautiful.
Yes, there's another great bit about they sort of play this with a nod and a wink to the audience because we obviously know what's going on, but every time she's not talking to the doctor directly, the voice drops. And she even drops the voice once when she gets called out a couple of times.
She's just like assiding, like.
But the one that made me howl with laughter is the doctor's describing about who the Rani is to who he thinks is Mel. It's like you have to watch out. She's got a brilliant but sterile mind. And the Rani puts her hands on her head and goes, "I'm overwhelmed."
That's the moment I was thinking of.
That's so good.
And some of the times she looks straight at the camera like it's a moment from The Office, just like she's done with this.
Yeah. The fourth wall is shattered.
Speaking of shattering the fourth wall, at some point the Doctor and the Rani go back to his TARDIS to get a radiation detector or something, and this is when the Doctor decides to take off the Rainbow Abomination. At last.
Can I say? So I always try to have one of the wikis up whenever we do this, so I just keep, especially for this because it's a 4-part series, just to make sure I know exactly where everything is.
Right.
They have the best description for this scene.
Oh, God, please.
In the meantime, the Doctor has returned to the TARDIS to change his clothes as he finds the clownish outfit of the 6th not a fitting match for his new persona. They actually described it as clownish.
That's the best prose I've read since Russell T Davidson's sequel to Prose.
Oh my God. So, the costume change scene is also ridiculous. He's putting on royal guardsman hats.
Yeah,
and then Napoleon
for the Rani. He's getting dressed to show off to the Rani.
Yeah, but he still thinks he's a Mel. Crucially, at this point.
Yeah. I love the one.
It's so funny because the Rani's like giving him yeses and nos. It's like apparently the Rani's into fashion now.
my favorite bit is I think where he puts on like a goddamn graduation cap, and and here's another thing we haven't talked about. McCoy's Doctor early on tended to mix up his phrases and words and shit, like saying.
Yeah, he just about the whole story.
Yeah. And he walks up and he says, "A little portentous, perhaps, Mel." And he walks away, and she drops her, and the Rani drops her voice, and he's just like, "Pretentious is the word."
Yeah. But
and then he puts on older Doctor's outfits.
Yeah.
And makes puns. He comes out wearing Tom Baker's burgundy outfit from his final season, and he's like, old hat, walks out in John Pertwee's, not frilled.
Yeah.
Walks out in Peter Davison's.
The best bit when he comes to Peter Davison and he's like, anyone for cricket, and a glass shattering sound effect plays.
Kevin McCulloch presses the glass shattering button on his synthesizer. But then, finally, he puts on his actual outfit, which is the light version of it. In the last season he had a darker coat, but he has a light coat now. So he's got the coat, he's got a scarf and his hat, and of course, the question mark jumper.
So, from the way you described that, is the light version the shiny version of the Pokemon, or is it the version?
Oh my God.
Look, I've only got one Pokeball left. I need to know now.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, and then after that, he hallucinates, and they fucking superimpose Buddy Langford's face over Kate O'Mara.
And then she punches him?
And then she whaps him in the face. She just gives him a slap. Oh,
I thought she punched him, but yeah, it might be a slap.
We're kind of going through in order here, poking at the stuff.
Well, that's fine, because this is the best stuff.
Yeah. And of course, we have the part 1 cliffhanger. Mel gets caught in a bubble bomb.
Screaming all the time again.
Screaming all the time.
Oh,
Which actually...
This time she made friends with one of the natives, but honestly, who really cares about that?
Yeah. That's the B plot. She's running around with one of the aliens. They're on the planet Lacertia, so they're the Lacertians. They're like green lizard chicken people or something.
They've got some reptile to them because they've got like reptilian tails when the skeleton is discovered later on.
And they have scales on their faces, but you know, yes. it's just BBC guys in green makeup because it's 87.
Yes,
but this actually leads to a really interesting cut at the beginning of part 2 when the alien guy, because Mel's bubble bomb doesn't blow up because obviously the companion's not going to blow up. Yeah. It doesn't blow up. It lands in a lake, but she's still stuck in the bubble. So he has to try and defuse it. So you see, the shot you see is him trying to defuse the bomb. And then it cuts to the doctor fixing the Rani's machine. But, like, part of it blows up and smoke comes out of it.
Yeah.
But it's cut in such a way that for a split second, you think that the bomb blew up.
Match cut. Yeah. It's a good use of the match cut.
It's actually a really interesting cut.
Yeah, it's very well done, I think.
And then all the budget immediately was used up.
What, for one match cut? No, I don't think so.
Oh, trust me, it was used.
No. They used all the budget on rendering that tower.
Yes, all the budget went to the CGI opening.
Yeah,
and Sylvester McCoy in a blonde wig. Anyway, moving on.
Okay.
Yeah, the cliffhangers are pretty run-of-the-mill, basically. You know, companion or doctor gets into danger, gets out of it again at the resolution. One thing I didn't like...
I'll have something to say about Part 3's cliffhanger.
Yeah, one thing I didn't like is that... I don't know if this was prevalent throughout the whole of the McCoy era or not, but the resolution, it plays like a minute and a half of the previous episode.
I don't know if all of them do that. Some stories are worse than others about this.
And I suppose that's more forgivable if you were watching it as like a weekly serial, but watching it in like 4 parts in bulk, like I was, that got repetitive.
It was intended as a weekly serial.
Yeah,
you can give it a bit of slack there.
I am going to give it some slack, but I'm just saying, for me personally, it didn't work, but I can understand why they did it.
Yeah, it's basically padding, you know. If you write 22 minutes of your script and you're a little under, you can go, well, I can maybe like extend out the cliffhanger resolution from last time and give myself an extra minute to play with.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's all that bunch of nonsense.
I mean, I don't know how they had to fill up that time when they had that absolutely crucial spoon moment. So
absolutely crucial.
Absolutely vital. So, the plot is pretty basic, honestly, compared to some Doctor Who stories I've seen. It's the plot that's the attraction. It's the amount of gonzo shit that goes on.
This is absolutely like 80s exit. It's like the last time the show really, really goes for like gaudy 80s tacky bullshit like this. Because after this, they do kind of tone it down. I mean, there are still some things that are extremely, extremely 80s, because that's just the time. Yeah. But I mean, this is the last gasp of, like, the Colin Baker years. Excess, say.
Yeah.
But there are still moments in part 2 that I really, really enjoy. Like, there's the part where one of the Rani's hench monsters, they're called the Tetraps, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we should talk about these. They're giant bats with 4 eyes, and they do a really neat trick where you see from their vision sometimes, and it's just 4 cameras, each pointing at different stuff, all overlaid, because they got 4 eyes. And
that's a neat trick. That's a good way to show 4-eye vision. One thing I like about the Tetraps is you do not see them in full for the whole of part 1, and I think most of part 2.
I think, like, partway into part 2, you see a Tetrap.
And this is something I wish that more modern-day Doctor Who stories would do with monsters, where they don't show the monster off all at once. You see little bits of it, or you hear it. Or you see people reacting to it, but you don't see it all its glory until later.
Yeah, like all of part 1, you basically see like a leg, or McCoy reacts to it when it shoots him and knocks him out early on, and then one stalking Mel and Icona, the alien guy.
Yeah.
And then in part 2, it catches up to Mel and the other guy.
And we see it.
And
it's the Power Rangers Monster of the Week.
Basically.
Again.
Again. Yeah.
Well, I could have sworn we made a Make My Monster Grow joke last week, but...
Yeah.
I think... Wait, yeah.
And when I say we, I mean Cat.
Because of course I did.
Of course.
No, but like, speaking of the Tetraps, there's an amazing moment in part 2 where the Rani has to go to her TARDIS to get like some material to finish the machine and finish repairing the machine. So she has to go back to her TARDIS. And on the way there, now she's still fully dressed as Mel, and the Tetraps are hunting for Mel. So she gets shot by the glitter gun.
Yeah.
And knocked down. And the Tetrap is like, "Oh, sorry, mistress. I thought you were the intruder."
Which is a fair point, actually.
You run around disguised as a person.
He hadn't seen her dressed like that. He was told, get the girl that's dressed like that. What was he supposed to do?
And then we get to her TARDIS, which is a gay pyramid.
So what?
It's a gay pyramid.
It's a glass pyramid.
With pink.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I really love it.
Really? Oh my god.
I have been home alone for several days. You guys are getting the brunt of my puns, so trust me.
No. I like that one. I like that pun.
That's good. Unfortunately, they didn't have the budget. Great set for her TARDIS, since they only use it really for 2 scenes.
Yeah.
So they blue screened it,
and
it looks like shit.
The set is infinitely better in Mark of the Rani.
It looks like shit because in 1987 on the BBC budget, you couldn't actually like clean up the fringes of blue screen around someone.
Yeah.
So you just got the Rani making her sheet of like stuff, and she's got the blue halo. Because
some of the chroma keying in this is atrocious.
Yeah, it's par for the course with Doctor Who. Really,
I think all I did was type the word "oof" when I was reacting to this.
And then they just went to the set of Pyramid and they stole all the set pieces from there and put it inside of her TARDIS. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's not a good set, unfortunately. Another good scene happens at the end of part 2. So Mel finally catches up with the Doctor, who has by now has sort of twigged that the Rani is not Mel, because she gives herself away with... She said that, these people are very primitive. And she says, I'll go and get the part you need from them. So he catches her out in a contradiction. But then Mel turns up. There's
also a part where the Rani says she forgot something, but the Doctor says, "Oh, really? But Mel, you have a perfect memory."
Is that also established in a previous story?
I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think it might be.
Right, so...
Give me a moment, I'll try and see if I can find it.
Alright, well, while you have your moments...
Anyway, while we have before that, when the Doctor and Mel meet each other, first he doesn't trust her, so it leads to a WWE match.
Yes. And McCoy wins by 2 falls and a submission. But of course he will, because, Bonnie Langford is what, 100 pounds soaking wet? She'd snap in half like a twig if you actually tried to do anything in real life.
Jeez.
At this stage.
God.
Like, I'm not dissing on Bonnie Langford. The point is that she's a skinny, young-ish girl.
Yeah.
Compared to McCoy, who's a not skinny, 40-something-year-old man.
Yeah.
Was he 40-something at this point? I think he was.
Something like that. Yeah. So, what were you going to bring up?
Well, after the wrestling match, you call it,
yeah,
they're both accusing each other of not being who they say they are. So you can't be the Doctor, you don't look like the Doctor. And he's like, you're the Rani, I know you're the Rani. So they come to this great way of figuring out who's telling the truth. And they reach across the table, and they check each other's pulses.
There you go.
So Mel hasn't got a double pulse, so she's not the Rani because she's not a time lady. But the Doctor has got a double pulse, and so it's established who is who, and I thought that was rather neat, actually.
Good. Yeah, I like that a lot. And it does kind of parallel Mark of the Rani, where she check his hearts, and it's like, wait a minute. Shit.
Yeah.
2 hearts.
Yeah, that's another parallel that I hadn't spotted then. And I should mention as well, I forgot to mention, so the wardrobe scene that you took great pains to enjoy and laugh about, that is a parallel of Tom Baker's first story, Robot.
And now I'm marrying you. Wait! Oh shit! We forgot something. We forgot the fucking screen cap. You didn't get... I don't think you caught this dialogue, or else you would have said it.
I didn't catch this at all, no.
Okay, Raniak, I'm going to link you something on screen here.
Okay.
You did... Yeah, I don't think you had the subtitles on. But this is something McCoy says in part 1. And I'm going to link it to you, and you're going to laugh.
I must have missed this.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. I definitely missed this because
You'll have a laugh. I promise you'll have a laugh, and we'll put it. I'll say now. It comes up.
Okay.
And put it up now.
Oh my god!
You son of a bitch!
God damn it!
You son of a bitch! I've been betrayed!
I completely missed that! How?
Oh my god.
How did I miss that?
I don't know, but you did.
Anyway, the point is, by now, order's been established again, the Doctor and Mel are back together, only they're split up again because the Rani's coming back and she's like, if she finds you, she'll kill you, so Mel has to escape with one of the aliens, who is the mother of the one that died and the wife of her collaborator, the Rani's collaborator, who we haven't actually mentioned yet, Bayes.
Yeah.
The leader of these aliens is working for the Rani under duress.
To keep, or else she'll kill them.
She'll kill them all, she says. So Mel gets out of the way, which leads us to cliffhanger number 2. The Rani and the Doctor have a confrontation. The Doctor, the Rani takes her wig off because she realises I've been rumbled. Oh dear. They have a confrontation.
Confrontation, you say?
McCoy gets it with the old point.
Look over there. He says.
Look over there. Distraction. Then wraps her up in his scarf.
And he slides out the door.
And runs away.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guy.
Yes?
Hey.
So you know how I said I need that moment to take a look at Mel and see if I can find anything about her memory?
Yes?
Uh-huh.
Which I was able to find something, in the Wrong Doctors, which was an audio, story.
I think I've heard this one.
She apparently did have some pretty good memory then,
that came after. That was like...
Yeah.
I can tell your voice, this is not all of it. Go on.
So, how do you guys feel about slight character background from a story that was written for the Doctor Who series?
Go on.
All right.
So it turns out that Melanie Bush, who, is Mel, she kind of killed her older sister.
What?
What?
Yeah, according to the written story Spiral Scratch.
Oh, I mentioned this one.
She had an older sister named Annabelle, whose death she accidentally caused when Annabelle was 3 years old.
Oh, what the fuck?
Holy shit!
I've read this book too.
She pushed her down the stairs by accident.
Jesus Christ!
What's wrong with you, 90s fandom? Jesus.
I'm linking you her sister's very, very short article.
That's not how I expected Annabelle to be spelt, but
Hey, hang on. Isn't that the same way? Isn't that the same way they spelled the Annabelle from Forest?
Oh, that tone of voice, though, I love it.
Okay, so this episode took it to what the...
Yes, this took a 180 pretty quick, didn't it?
I've actually read Spiral Scratch. I know I have.
It's taking a while for my stupid browser to load this, but I'm going to take what you say as 100%
Oh, I
read.
believe
But, yeah, there it is.
At least Mel likes the music of ABBA and the Bee Gees. There's that.
Oh,
hang on a
nice.
minute. It happened in an alternate universe.
No.
Oh no, it didn't. The Prime universe.
Annabelle's accidental death only happened
in
the
one
Prime
universe. The main one. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Wow, the writer really didn't like Annabelle much, did he? Or she?
He invented her, so what the fuck? Can we talk about the funny show again?
Yes, this is taking a turn into dark.
Yes,
Jeez.
let's move on. I honestly did not expect to find at all.
No,
Neither did I.
I can tell.
Anyway, the cliffhanger for part 2 of Dr. Hyde.
The cliffhanger is that he's
The
tied
Dr.
up in his
Hyde.
scarf, and he comes across a giant nest of these bat creatures, the tetraps.
And they surround him.
Yeah, that's your cliffhanger for part 2. It's the worst of the 3 cliffhangers.
Yeah, and the resolution is Baeus feeds them their slime,
Yeah,
and that distracts them
And
enough
that's
for the
it.
Doctor to get away.
Doctor gets away. Baeus then, it's not really a heel turn, is it? Because he's still working for the Rani under duress.
He's helping, but
Yeah.
not.
He's helping because he feels he has to. He's a collaborator, but he has reasons for collaborating.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he even says the word you're looking for is collaborator. The word you're avoiding is collaborator to the Doctor. But they're alone in the central control room of the Rani's base. The Doctor tries to take apart from the Rani's machine. Base notices him. They have a fight. Triangle wins. The 7th Doctor wins.
See, you say fights, but really the fights are slapsticky nonsense.
It's like, I've got the part, give me the part. I'm not going to give you the part. I'm going to take the part, and then they just scrap for a bit.
He trips Baeus with his umbrella, with the 6th Doctor's rainbow umbrella.
Yeah. Anyway, the Doctor wins the quote-unquote fight. The Rani comes back to find Baeus not silly on the floor. She doesn't punish him for this. The Doctor gets away. Except not for very long.
He encounters Icona just as the Doctor's about to trip on a bubble bomb wire.
Yeah, so Icona saves him.
And then they knock a tetrap into him.
Yeah, who I thought was the main tetrap, who's Uruk. Yeah, but that was just bad editing. It's not him, because he later says she's still talking to Uruk. He says that, a tetrap was killed and I demand retribution. But he escapes with Icona and Mel to the pleasure dome, or should I say the leisure centre.
Well, Mel doesn't get away.
The centre of leisure.
The centre of
Mel
leisure.
doesn't get away because she gets caught by the tetraps, who have a paralyzing lick.
Oh, so it's Pokemon.
They dart their tongue out and stick it on your neck, and you freeze.
We're back to Pokemon, because that's literally a paralysing move in Pokemon.
Which actually like shushes Mel from her screeching.
Yes. So that tetrap MVP of the episode. That tetrap's the MVP of the entire episode, because he managed to say so properly for a bit.
The center of leisure and
Mel uses screech. It's super effective.
Okay. So the center, which is really kind of interesting to me, because this is where some weird subtext for me came up.
Oh, this was a choice, wasn't it? So the writer of this, Pip and Jane Baker still? Yeah. Pip and Jane Baker. They decided that these aliens, these Lacertians, should be hedonists. They're addicted to pleasure. But it's made them, what's the word that's used?
Indulgent?
Indolent.
Indolent.
Yeah. Which
indolent.
I had to look up. I think it's basically have been rendered to the point of uselessness by their pleasure? Something like that?
I have a question, a bit of a political read question.
Oh,
Are
God.
Pip and Jane Baker fair
A Pip and Jane Baker what, sorry?
against welfare? Because it's like, oh, they don't do anything. They just enjoying themselves all day. Horrific.
I don't know, but I would take this more like it's a rich society thing to do nothing all day.
Yeah. And instead of like resisting the Rani like Icona is, sort of sit around all day and enjoy themselves.
Honestly,
well, apparently, it basically means lazy, but similar also means work shy.
Okay.
Oh my God!
So it is a commentary on welfare. Okay.
I mean, there's something else at the very end that kind of supports this. We'll get to, but what the fuck?
That's two things that have completely horrified me today. Great.
And good for nothing. That's also one of them.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, okay. Because all the scene was missing was a hookah pipe.
Yeah, but even with the political subtext, this still manages to be completely gonzo because of the orb.
Ah, the orb. Yeah. So Stephen Moffat is a hack, and he nicked the idea for the Neversphere off this, and that's my idea. I'm sticking to it.
It's just an orb. Yeah. No.
It's not just an orb. No.
No.
It's far more than just an orb. So, back at the base, the Rani, Bayes, and Uruk are having a conversation. Uruk is furious that a Tetrap got killed in the bubble trap. So the Rani says, "Right, we're going to teach your species a lesson, Bayes, even though they're not anything to do with this. It's Icona who's a rebel
guilt by association.
Yeah, guilt by association. She presses the button. The orb opens out, and out comes these killer insects. It's the bees! Not the bees!
Oh, they're in my eyes!
You get a bee, and you get a bee, and you get a bee!
The bees kill a few of the aliens off, including Icona's brother, so he was in it for all about a minute.
Also, can we just say, the bees? A cat link that I was thinking of. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh,
okay, I'm putting that in the recording.
Beautiful. Also, the effects to show the bees are just...
It's just a little light.
Little green lights flickering around their positive in effect.
That's why I said it's a disco ball.
It's not a bee, it's a little light bulb that blinks.
Okay, so after all this, the doctor gets the message that Mel's been kidnapped by the Rani, and the Rani wants to trade the part he took out of her machine for Mel. So they go to trade. They leave the part on the rock, and the Tetrap takes it and snickers. And Mel walks right over to the doctor. He's holding his arms out, ready to hug Mel. She walks right through him. It was a hologram.
She was on Rimmer all this time.
You got jaked, Doctor. You got jaked.
Punked.
It's actually quite an ingenious way of tricking him.
I love his reaction. He's a hologram. Throws his hat on the ground. He's like, God damn.
Yeah. She juked me again. God damn it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Which after some more fudging around, and the Rani gets Mel to work on the computer to get her plan to work.
Because they remember she's a computer expert.
Yeah. Anyway, that leads us to part 3 and the cliffhanger, where the doctor gets captured.
Yeah.
And the Rani has been capturing like famous geniuses from history. People.
Yeah, Einstein Hypatia from Greek and Roman ancient culture.
Louis Pasteur.
In there.
Yeah, Louis Pasteur's in there, and other people who we assume are maybe from the future.
Maybe.
They're not specified. But
there's only 3 or 4.
There's an open cell for the Doctor. It's literally labelled the Doctor, and
yeah.
Outside, Ulrich uses lick on the Doctor, and it's super effective. He's now paralysed, so he's brought into the base.
They also find out what the Rani is hiding behind the closed door in her base, and It's Andros.
Mother of all brains.
Only I have the brains to rule that.
Only I have the brains to rule like Kershaw.
So it's a big brain. She's uploaded all these minds into a really big brain. But now she needs...
Realized?
What's that?
When the Rani was still in Mel's outfit with the big shoulder pads, that almost looked exactly like Samus.
Oh my god! So, the Rani has a big brain, and it's got all the minds of genius in it, but it doesn't have a working knowledge of time travel, which she needs for. Hence, putting the Doctor in there. So, and this is really genius, I think. The Part 3 cliffhanger is the Doctor getting uploaded to this giant brain.
Yeah,
it's like,
his voice
oh no!
starts coming out of the brain.
Oh no!
And the Rani's won. Handiwork and smirking.
What a cliffhanger! And then we get to Part 4, and the resolution of the cliffhanger is, oh no, this newly regenerated Doctor is a scatterbrained idiot. He's arguing with the other minds in the brain and ruining everything.
Yeah, he's what's the word she uses? Oh.
Multiple.
I love it.
Schizophrenia or something.
That's it, yeah. He's inducing multiple schizophrenia. I love this scene.
I love it. She's just sitting there hearing the Doctor.
I think they miss a trick here. I think they miss a big trick here. I think they could have made it so that the Doctor intentionally gets himself captured.
Now, see,
intentionally gets himself uploaded to the brain in order to sabotage it from within. Because that's just the sort of thing that McCoy's Doctor does.
Yeah. But they hadn't had that worked out yet. They hadn't had that characterization.
No, they were still working on the remnants of the Colin Baker era. So they hadn't established his character.
This was a rushed job, and the new script editor didn't really. Yeah, the new script editor really didn't have his chance to put his stamp on things and pull things more in that direction. But you can certainly headcanon this as he intentionally got captured. There is a moment at the climax of the actual story that reads a lot like something.
Yeah.
But either way, whether he intended to or not, the Doctor is a rambling idiot who's wrecking the brain from within the Rani, and that's the resolution of the cliffhanger. And the Rani's absolutely pissed. She's just like, I'll kill him! I'll kill him!
Yes.
She unhook him from the brain before it goes wild.
So she gets him out of the brain before he can do any more damage. Something happens, and she's actually put inside of the chamber?
Yeah, like, she unhooks the Doctor, who immediately gets up, and he and Mel shove her into the chamber at the door.
Yeah.
So Stephen Moffat is a hack. He ripped locking Hitler in the cupboard from this.
I like how two of us now made the joke Stephen Moffat is a hack.
I love Moffat.
The Neposphere now putting Hitler in the cupboard. No, but the point is we were doing it entirely as a joke. There's no way he actually ripped it off these two things.
There's no way Moffat likes time in the Rani. Come on.
No. But
he's
funny how Kat mentioned, that the whole Mel killing her sister accidentally, quote unquote, at 3 years old. Mel's murderous intent is kind of realised a couple of times here. She wants to give the Rani a taste of her medicine and put her in the brain. The Doctor is against this, of course. So that doesn't happen.
What good would that accomplish? Then she'd be able to do what she wanted.
Yeah, there's also another bit where I think Iconis talks about extermination. So I can think of a few candidates for extermination myself right now. So it's just, but as you say, this was a mess and a rush job, so it doesn't really mean anything that much.
This is another Gonzo element, are the deadly ankle bracelets.
Oh, God, so the tech traps have mobilized in full force. They go to the center of leisure, and they coerce the locations into doing nothing by putting these bracelets on their ankles and demonstrates it by exploding it, which reduces one to an immediate skeleton again. So they can't do anything. They're stuck in the center of leisure with a booby trap bomb to their strapped to their ankles. The Rani is taken out of the chamber by either Urak or Bayes, I think.
One of them.
I think it's probably Bayes. It's got to be Bayes because Urak's at the center of leisure. So she's free again.
And this is about the time where we finally learn the Rani's plan, which is
crazy,
elaborate, to say the least. Like, last time we had extract a chemical from a human being's brain to help control her subjects on a different planet. That was her plan. This plan is use a giant brain with its genius to calculate the formula for strange matter, then shoot that shit at an asteroid of strange matter, and somehow turn the entire planet Lacertia into some sort of time sphere with the giant brain thinking at the center, with fusion and supernovas and all this other shit happening, which will eventually turn it into a time manipulator, which can rewrite time on the fly or something.
I can explain this a little bit better because I have the wiki pulled up.
Okay,
so
please.
The substance that they need that the doctor accidentally gives them the formula for is Loy Hargel.
An anagram of Holy Grail?
I'm
oh
probably,
my god,
way
really?
mispronouncing it.
Really, I know that from the special feature.
Oh, how did I not say that? I'm the Anagram Guy.
So, upon impact with a missile to the strange matter,
Asteroid?
Asteroid, thank you. The strange matter would form a shell of chronons around Lacerta, causing the brain to expand to fill the entire surface of the planet, converting it into a time manipulator. With this, the Rani can change the course of history and control the randomness of evolution throughout the universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's her plan.
Which she plans to use to give Earth turn Earth back to the Cretaceous period to have the dinosaurs have another run at it.
She uses that as an example. What she really actually wants to do with it, they never really say.
And this is the bit I don't like, because the Rani works best when she's a cold, calculating scientist.
Mm-hmm.
She's now tipping into sort of megalomaniac, evil villain, twirling a moustache that isn't there because she's a lady, but...
Well, it still could be used for science. If she can control evolution, then she can see, well, what happens if they adapt to this instead of that?
Yeah, true, but you see my point. The whole idea is that even when she was killing people, she was doing it entirely detached.
Mm-hmm. This
story kind of ruins that, because she releases the insects purely out of spite, eye for an eye, and then she's prepared to reduce the planet to nothingness for her plan. She's prepared to reduce the Earth back to the Cretaceous period because the Doctor will hate it. She's going to leave the Doctor and Mel stranded to get destroyed with the planet, while she leaves safely in her TARDIS. But this all backfires on her spectacularly, because just as she is relating her plan, back comes Urak. He hears it all.
Including the fact that she's just going to let everybody on the planet die.
Including him, because at one point she's like, I want to go to the TARDIS. And it's like, I prefer to come with you, so I bet you will, but you're not going to. So he realises, okay, we've all been tricked here.
Okay, time to overthrow this bitch.
Yes, so that's the last you see of her for a bit. Through machinations, basically, the Doctor goes back to the Centre of Pleasure, disarms the bombs by
circuitry.
Creating a secondary circuit, which just about works.
That's a fine little bit.
So the Lacurtians are now free from the deadly bracelets. Nobody gives a damn about the poor girl that got blown up 5 minutes earlier, and it's still sitting on the ground.
Jesus Christ. And this is fun too. They actually use the deadly bracelets. Yeah, this is very much in line with what you were talking about later, era McCoy. This is straight up like echo of Remembrance of the Daleks.
I do like the way that he solves the puzzle and saves the day for the most part. So
because they put the bracelets around the brain, the deadly ankle bracelets.
He hides them in his umbrella, which is nice.
And then they managed to fiddle around and stop the countdown at 4. So it's like 7, 6, 5, 4. Yeah. And this happens just as the Rani TARDIS, and she hears the countdown go bad.
Yes.
So the Doctor pops up and he's like, "It's over, Rani. the Lacertians have stopped the countdown. And she's like, I'll show the Lacertians.
Yeah, you signed the death warrant, hits the detonator, and blows up the brain.
He tricks her into blowing up her own shit.
Yeah. She also blows up the base, who's elected to stay behind.
You know, redeeming his
I suppose as pedants for what he's helped her to do.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of read into it. But to ensure that it all goes ahead and it all works. So
he tricks her into blowing up her own shit.
Yeah, he gets blown up, doesn't turn into a skeleton for some reason, but he gets blown up with the base. And this is totally Davros, don't use the hand, I beg you, from Rumors of the Daleks.
Pretty much.
And that was a wonderful scene too. So I do like the way this resolves.
It's cute. And then the Rani runs off in her TARDIS, but
she doesn't get very far.
The tech traps were waiting for her, and they got her all tied up.
Yeah, she's tied up in her own TARDIS. They're going to take her back to her home planet to use her for experiments and maybe slave labor as well.
Curses! It's foiled again!
Yeah, this is expanded upon in Expanded Universe stuff and Big Finish audios as well. I think there was some prose written about it. At some point she escapes and she vows to have revenge on Urak and the Tear Traps. Well, she never actually gets to the at the time of us recording this, she never gets it. But yeah, that's the last you see of the Rani ever. Oh no, sorry, we're forgetting Dimensions in Time.
You're forgetting Dimensions in Time.
That's the last we see of the Rani in a canon capacity.
All sorts of audiobooks and stuff with her.
That's what we see. Last we see of the Rani on TV in a canon capacity. But yeah. They were going to bring the Rani back in Big Finish. They had hired Kato Mara, and then sadly, Kato Mara died a few weeks before production could begin.
Shame.
I don't think production began, but her agent assured Big Finish that she would very much want them to go ahead without her. So they had to recast the Rani, and they recast her as Siobhan Redmond, a Scottish actress with red hair. And a really nice touch, actually, for her publicity photo, she curls her hair like Kato Mara used to.
Nice.
Aww.
Yeah, as a nice little tribute to her.
Kat, I think I actually gave you that audio for Christmas.
Probably.
Oh, is that the one you got her?
Yeah, I got her the Rani Elite.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, that was supposed to be the Rani's big. That's the Rani's big return.
I have to listen to that one again.
And another thing about the Rani, if she had come back in the Russell T Davies era, I found an interview that was fascinating about this. He says that if he had brought her back, because he joked that the hand that picks up the ring at the end of Series 3 from the Master's corpse on the funeral pyre, he used to call it the hand of the Rani. And if he had brought that back, if he had brought her back during his time as showrunner, he would have had her played by another Scottish actress called Ruthie Henschel. So he had someone in mind to play her if he ever brought her back. Of course, he never actually brought her back. But seeing this episode and seeing Mark of the Rani, they could do worse than bring the Rani back.
Also, there's the ending to Time in the Rani, which does feed back into that weird political reading that I made.
Yes.
Can I do this?
You can.
Yes.
Do this. Go ahead.
So, obviously, it's one of those really happy, we won sort of endings where they're talking to the leftover people, the Lacertians, and they're talking to Icona, and the Doctor just happens to have this little vial of antidote for the killer insects. And it's like, oh, that's great. That's fantastic. I can't believe it. And then Icona pours it all on the ground.
But he has a reason for doing it.
Yeah, his people must solve their own problems from now on if they are to survive.
It's like...
It's a little hard to solve your own problems when half your people are dead.
Narrative voice. The location came 10 minutes after the Doctor left the planet.
You can see what I mean here. Icona's viewpoint is themselves up by their own bootstraps.
Yeah. That's a really I've never seen before, but I think this is an anti-welfare story. Holy shit.
Nobody's read this story before.
Hand it to you. Come on. I mean, seriously.
nobody's read into it like this before because nobody takes Time in the Rani seriously.
Which, given that we're recording this at the time of a pandemic and people are very worried about what they're going to be able to earn, not being able to work is very, very appropriate.
Yeah, unemployment is super high here in the Americas. So, like, yeah.
We've got a system in place that's kept a lot of people in their jobs while they can't work, but it's not perfect by any means.
I know Canada's giving people something like $2,000 a month, like that.
Yeah.
Self-employed people, if they qualify for it, get $2,500 a month, which is amazing, actually.
And we get a single check of $1,200.
Thanks, Donald Trump.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and some of us don't if you happen to earn too much.
Yeah. You shouldn't have, Donald. No, really, you shouldn't have, Donald.
Oh, and if you have kids, you get even more money, which means I get screwed because I don't have kids. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's not focus on the horrors of the world. Let's just this is fun. It's not good. It's really not good. If you just look at the plot as a whole, it's quite bland. But enough crazy stuff happens in it to make it very entertaining.
It's fun. I don't know. It's the third worst story according to
And much like Mark of the Rani, it's just something that I think we needed in these times to just lift our spirits a bit.
It's dumb, but it's fun to watch, you know?
Yeah, sometimes dumb is dumb and just not fun. It's the best
intro to the Seventh Doctor, but it's not that bad.
It's one of the worst Seven Doctors ones I've seen, objectively.
Yeah, it definitely is one of the worst.
The Seven Doctors era is actually really, really quality, for the most part.
Like you could...
Something really funny.
That
I scrolled up to look at the cast list and everything. You know how they have that bar on the side of wiki pages that shows, like, there's these and this and this?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So they have, like, the Doctor is the Seventh Doctor, Companions is Mel, featuring the Sixth Doctor. No, it didn't.
No. No. That featuring is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sense.
And then they have 2 credits for the cast for Sylvester McCoy, where he's credited as the Doctor twice, but one of them is technically uncredited.
Yeah.
Featuring.
Yes.
Really heavy air quotes.
As I say, that featuring is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. But, yeah, I enjoyed it. First time I've ever seen this, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, featuring about 6 air quotes around it. Thanks for that, Jerry.
You're welcome. Yeah, Time of the Rani is just stupid fun. You can have fun with it. It's not good, but you can have fun with it. You know, it's kind of like Mystery Science Theater 3000, that sort of. You just watch it, you have a good time, you know?
Yeah.
McCoy has much better episodes. Like, the rest of his era, minus 1 or 2 little, like, moments, is spectacular.
If you want to watch an objectively brilliant Sylvester McCoy Doctor Who story, he has 2 all-time classics. The Curse of Fenric and Remembrance of the Daleks.
Those are really, really good, yeah. And
those stand up amongst in any era as 2 of the best Doctor Who serials of all time.
Remembrance of the Daleks is the first classic I watched. And, wow.
No wonder you became a fan then, because that is an amazing story.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible.
And I think The Curse of Fenric might even be a little bit better, but that's just, you know...
It's really good. It pays off on
that takes the manipulation stuff to its conclusion, and oh god, it's so good.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see a little bit of that in Time of the Rani, but as you say, they hadn't fully established McCoy's character yet.
Toby Whithouse ripped off Curse of Fenric, but worse.
I will allow you to dunk on Whithouse all you want.
Yeah, of course you will.
Whithouse?
And I'm even dunking on, like, one of the good ones he did.
Yeah, the Good Complex.
If any of you could go to the TARDIS wiki, the one that's on fandom.com, whoever wrote all of the entries and everything for Time in the Rani is a freaking genius, because this is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
They're having fun with it just as much as we are, I think.
Yeah.
They really are. The Lacurtians are blackmailed with the menace of killer insects.
Nice.
Oh, God. Factoid. So, that does it for Time in the Rani, I
Yes,
think.
it does, and that does it for Rani. Oh, all right. I would like it to be the end of
It's 20
Rani
minutes
Watch.
long. It's 20
I would like
minutes
it to be the end of Rani Watch, but you've kind of coerced me to doing Dimensions in Time as well.
Oh,
So as a bit of
to.
bonus content, because I think we all need it in these times. The more content, the better. I'm going to regret this, aren't I? We will do Dimensions in Time sometime in the next week.
Well, I mean, what else do we have to do?
We could always do that Ronnie Elite audio.
That is true.
But Dimensions in Time would be much funnier.
I think we'll just leave it to television stories, and this technically counts. So, all right, we'll do a bit of a bonus podcast sometime in the next week.
A bonus podcast on top of the bonus Ronnie Watch podcasts we've already done.
Well, the Rani Watch wasn't a bonus. We were always going to do Rani Watch.
Mm-hmm.
But we were not always going to do Dimensions in Time. Well, who am I kidding? You always had that in mind for me, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
At least you admit it. Okay,
Then on
so...
April 1st, we're doing The Twin Dilemma.
No.
Yes.
So this has been Time of the Rani then. We hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, it's not good, but it is entertaining, and I would implore you to try and track it down. It's on BritBox if you have that, if you're in the UK. If not, other completely legal methods of finding it are available. And
Yo ho, yo ho.
yes.
I don't know how much is a deal of Time in the Rani now. I got mine for like $28, I think.
Yes, but that's kind of a problem when you can't buy anything but food and medicine here at the moment.
I think the correct answer is
Oh.
too much.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. I'm just gonna link this, and I'm gonna take a screen cap so you can show it on the thing.
When you said, I was expecting Session of One to show up.
Holy mother of fuck!
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to click this. And this will have to be This is going to make Discord. This is going to make Discord freak out. But let's just see this, and then we'll end it off here. Okay. And it's loading, and it's still loading. Come on, load, you stupid thing. What? Okay.
For those who are only listening,
how much does
there's
that
a copy
equate
here
to?
that's used for $234
Canadian dollars.
What the actual fuck?
That's at least £200.
I will convert this to you.
That's at least £200.
That is $167 US. That is how many British pounds? 134.
Oh, all right, it's cheaper than I thought, but still, that's way too much.
That is way too much.
Also, it's used, but it's only very good condition. The fuck are you selling it for that much in very good condition?
There are cheaper ones on this listing, but that's the first one that popped up.
Was it this price before the pandemic as well? What?
I don't know. I bought this like years ago. 2015 is when I bought mine.
That is just ridiculous.
How much do I pay for that? Let me.
That is just absolutely robbery.
$23.70 is what I paid for it.
Yeah, if they've marked that up because of the pandemic and people can't get it at a reasonable price, then screw you.
Probably not. They do that with Doctor Who TV.
But anyway, this has been Time of the Rani, and we hope you all enjoyed it. I know I certainly did.
That was an interesting time.
Yeah. And join us next time, I guess, for Dimensions in Time, because screw you all.
Have either of you seen that?
No.
No.
Oh, boy.
Join us next week to listen to me and Kat lose our minds.
And I'll probably lose mine, too. But we're gonna have
laughing at us.
Oh. Laughing with.
But until then, and we don't know exactly when it's going to be, Until then, bye for now.
Bye.